My name's Bhante Nalaka here at the Sitagu Buddhist Vihara. I was ordained here in 2012. I helped start this temple in 1996. I knew the founding members back in the 80s. It's a Burmese temple. This originally just started out with 2 trailers, and then we made a little kitchen up on top of the hill. And now we have, I think, 40 buildings. So it's a great little place for like a meditation retreat. And then we have this big pagoda. I think this is the largest pagoda in the United States, or even in the West. It's modeled after the Shwezigan Pagoda in Burma. And it's hollow on the inside with 24 Buddhas from different countries, representatives of Buddhist statuary from Cambodia, Laos, Sri Lanka, Burma. So in the pagoda, we do morning chanting and meditation at 5:30 in the morning. The chanting is in Pali, which is close to Sanskrit. So it's the Buddha's language. So Buddhism started out as just a unwritten phonetical teaching. So it was all memorized. All the books, all the suttas, all the sayings of the Buddha, they were all memorized for generations. And every temple has a different set of chants. And it's kind of like a self-affirmation kind of things, may it be happy and peaceful. So we share our merits with all beings. And we accept the merits from all wholesome people. It's a feel-good kind of chanting. And there's a Dhamma hall, which has a wallpaper copied from 13th century artwork from Burma, which has the whole life of the Buddha, his past life, going up to his birth, his enlightenment, and then his passing away. And that's a sitting Buddha with his legs hanging off the chair. Burma is the only country that has those types of statues. So the Buddha got enlightened. Then he went home to see his father, his wife, and his son. He gave a special Dhamma talk to his wife sitting in a chair. And so this represents that. So that's where we give like any sermons, teachings to the lay people, give them a Dhamma talk, talk about the qualities of being virtuous, being generous, virtues of meditation, and then talk more specifically about other things that can make people happy and they leave with a smile. I've since come back just a couple years ago to stay here, and I was given the opportunity to be like the meditation teacher. I'm actually a Vietnam era vet. I was like one of the last people to like volunteer to join the service. And then the Vietnam War ended officially. And then I kind of saw, kind of like the horrors of things. And so I became like a conscientious objector. So I wanted to imagine or try to reach that sort of mentality, to where I would be like I could be a complete pacifist and not have not kill anybody to protect even a family member. And so I looked into different religions, and I knew that meditation was the way to go. And I was just, okay, I'm open. Who knows how to meditate? Buddhism had the most like precise teaching. That was just, what if I have this feeling of fear? Well, you note the fear. And what if I'm sad? Well, then you note that you're sad. So whatever is going on, you mentally note it. Hence the term mindfulness. You're basically using the mind to note what's going on, bringing the mind back to the present moment over and over and over. So you're noting thoughts, you're noting the breath in and out at the nose, pains, noting the contact of the body on your chair, on your cushion. Everything's up to be mindful of. There's nothing we can't be aware of. There's judging, anger, all these things. It's like they're just little mental, all these mental states that arise. And then we just note them, label them, forget them, let them go. Always come back to the present moment. This practice, so we're noting in breath, out breath, thinking, pains in the knee, pain. These are all very ordinary, boring, ordinary events. But being mindful and noting of these things leads to the highest happiness, bliss, purity, the experience of nirvana, nibbana. By noting the mundane, we reach the supramundane. So this is how we gain our concentration and kind of quiet the mind down and gain wisdom. Wisdom is basically knowing the three characteristics of existence, which is that all things, all phenomena are impermanent, therefore unsatisfactory, and also not self. They're not ours. Our thoughts are not ours, our pains are not ours. When you start noting a pain, it starts off for meditators that there's a pain, say in my knee, and it's like my knee hurts, my body hurts. And then we get kind of an aversion to the pain. Then the pain grows bigger. But when we're mindful, we're noting pain, because we're noting it, the pain gets smaller and smaller, and eventually disappears. We have two emotions that cause a lot of pain to ourselves, and that's like excessive greed and anger. And so when we're noting these thoughts, they also get weaker and weaker and eventually disappear. So that's the state of like an enlightened person, or the Buddha, or these arahants, is that they can't even have a thought of greed or hatred. And so they're very light, they're very happy. There's no attachments to anything. There's no attachments to loved ones. There's no attachment to this body. So if you don't have any thoughts of anger, you can't harm or kill anybody. So it's the going back into full circle. Can I kill somebody, to defend my mother? And the answer is, probably not. It's probably not possible that I could do that. So the meditation and Buddhism helped me realize my goal. To be a complete pacifist, to not kill any person for any reason. So, and that's a purity. So we're having a purification of mind, where greed doesn't arise and anger doesn't arise. Meditation isn't the only part of Buddhism. If you want like a holistic approach, or you gotta have a holistic approach. So we say dana, sila, bhavana. So dana is generosity, giving. Sila is morality. And then bhavana is the meditation. Like beginners would just start with a generosity, or see that as a positive force. You give, and it makes others happy, and then it makes you happy. So we're trying to cultivate kind of a happiness in ourselves. Second one is the morality, which is starting out keeping the 5 precepts. 5 precepts are to abstain from killing. To abstain from killing, that's also animals. Taking what's not given. Abstaining from sexual misconduct. Abstain from lying. And abstain from drugs and alcohol. So when you hear it, it's kind of like, oh yeah, everybody knows that. But depending on one's circumstances in their life, it's like, well, I had to, again, defend my house, and so I killed the intruders. Or, well, I'm stealing, but it's from like a major department store, or they have insurance, or, there's all this rationalization. And then these laws of karma, or kama, arise. If you do good, you receive good. If you do bad, you receive bad. So, you're going on, you're injuring people, then you also get that in return. So later in your life or immediately, you can get attacked and killed also. If you're like a thief, you'll lose things in the future, in your future lives. We're all humans, but because of our generosity or lack of it, you can be born into a poor place or a rich place. And that's all due to our own previous lives, our own previous actions. So we're kind of the architects of our own destiny. And so what we do in this life affects our next life. So that's kind of the foundation, generosity and keeping like these 5 precepts. These things lead to happiness in this life, and they lead to happiness in the next life. For the Buddha and these fully enlightened saints, if they don't have any defilements, if they don't have any like greed or hatred or delusion in their mind, there's no energy there for them to be born into a future life. So when they pass away, this would be like their last life. They would be going into parinibbana, and then where is that? Is that a place? It's kind of like a candle. If you blow out a candle flame, where does the candle flame go? It's disappeared. But the state is still called nirvana or nibbana.